give me some kicks. Now, all you ladies, I shoot from the hip. I was born with a stiff upper lip. Like a dog in the house.
Good morning, podcast world. Thank you for downloading more of the same. Yours truly here, trying to wake up on this early Sunday morning. And I wake up to tremendous news for a fan like myself. Meaning that now I'm on the East Coast, and San Diego Comic-Con's actually going to be wrapping up today on the West Coast. And the big news, in my opinion, now a lot of news has come out of San Diego Comic-Con. Tons of trailers, which we'll get into later. We got trailers for Justice League, trailers for Wonder Woman. We got a trailer for Kong, Skull Island. An extended trailer, which I refuse to watch, not because of anything bad. An extended trailer of Suicide Squad. Reason, Sunday morning. If it was Monday morning, I'd probably still be sound asleep, because I hate getting up. Anyway, reason why I'm not watching the over 3 minute trailer for Suicide Squad is nothing bad for it. It's just, I have this thing about trailers, is after you got your teaser trailer, which is fine, and then your first official trailer. Trailers nowadays, in my opinion, spoil a ton of the movie in the trailer. I mean, there are trailers out there that show the last scene in a movie or in the trailer. Amazing Spider-Man 2. So I stay away from trailers nowadays, except when I'm in the movie theater. Pretty much you can't get around that. But the reason why, because the extended Suicide trailer, because that's just over 3 minutes of movie that I don't want to see yet until I'm in the theater. And I'm looking forward to seeing Suicide Squad. I think that's going to be a great movie. I think it's going to, as much as, even though I did not have a problem with Batman v Superman, I think Suicide Squad will turn the tide in a lot of DC fans who weren't too happy with Batman v Superman. And I haven't watched the Ultimate Edition yet, so maybe that would change a lot of people's thoughts. But the success of the Suicide Squad movie is going to lend to when it's time for Wonder Woman to come out, when it's time for Justice League to come out, and these movies are coming out next year, 2017. I'm going to have a friend of mine on a little bit later on, if not this week, maybe next week. We'll discuss those trailers in more detail, and maybe some other trailers if anything else sneaks up today, Sunday of Comic-Con. But some other big news. I mean, a lot of stuff come out. I mean, San Diego Comic-Con, it rolls out in batches. Brie Larson, just real quick, she's signed on now to play Captain Marvel. What else? Well, a lot of new from Marvel's side. We got a trailer for a new TV show, Legion, will appear on FX, and some new updated logos for their movies coming out: Black Panther, Guardian of the Galaxies Volume 2, Thor Ragnarok. The Thor Ragnarok new updated logo looks very 80s metal to me. I don't know why, but it does. Check it out online. But the biggest reason, in my opinion, is the fact that it was announced yesterday that Mystery Science Theater 3000 will be returning for its 11th season off of the tremendous Kickstarter campaign that it ran the end of 2016, which I believe makes it the #1 backed television and movie, if not television, backed Kickstarter campaign in the history of Kickstarter. MST3K will be coming back for an 11th season on Netflix. Wow. That is huge. That's huge. I wish I had a Paris Hilton drop here. That's huge. MST3K, in my opinion, the greatest show of all time, the funniest show of all time. And if you haven't watched it, you may have watched it without knowing that you were watching it way back in the 90s and for some time in the early 2000s on rerun. If you ever flip through the channels, come across a movie, usually a very, very bad movie, and on the bottom you see the silhouettes, 2 robots and a human. That's MST3K. The end of last year, during the Kickstarter campaign, Joel Hodgson, the creator of Mystery Science Theater, all he was looking for was a couple of mil from some fans to try and get a few, literally, maybe 3 episodes, to bring back the original Mystery Science Theater. Because there's a lot of riffing out there now, which is all good, don't get me wrong. You got Riff Tracks, which is the guys of Mystery Science Theater 3000, and you got the Incognito Cinema Warriors, which is also an homage, if you will, to MST3K. But there's nothing like the OG Mystery Science Theater. And not only did the Kickstarter blow past the 2.2 million, it ended up making about almost, $6.5 million, which led to a full 14-episode season, which includes, I think, a Christmas special, and all that's going to be on Netflix. And that was the big weight that the Misties, that's what we're called, fans of Mystery Science Theater, we're called Misties. In fact, if you know me for a long time, one of my first screen names back there at AOL was Misty, MSTIE, which probably led to some weird emails that I ended up getting when I was young. But it being on Netflix, I always figured it was going to be on an online platform, because it's 2016. Everyone's going online platform. Didn't think it would go network, but that's fine. Honestly, I didn't think it would go Netflix. I kind of thought maybe one of these smaller platforms, maybe like Pluto, or Amazon's not small, to be honest with you. I was thinking maybe more Amazon. That's not small at all, so forget that part. But it ended up hitting Netflix, which hopefully means also, and I don't know if they're already on there, to be honest, because I kind of canceled out Netflix for a while because there's nothing I was going to watch. I mean, I'm interested in watching a bunch of stuff, but I just haven't had time to because I'm usually sleeping. But I thought Amazon would be a good spot for MST3K, but Netflix, that's it. I mean, and Netflix is just taking off like a rocket with that. I think they invested like $2 billion or something like that this year for next year into original programming, and they got the Marvel programming, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, they Luke Cage trailer, which actually I have not seen yet. Luke Cage trailer for Luke Cage television show on Netflix. So, but also the cool thing about being on Netflix, is you get the entire season in one shot. You don't have to wait every week to watch it. So it does lend itself, which is good and bad in my opinion. It will lend itself to uber binge watching, but MST3K with commercials was usually about 2 hours. Without commercials, like an hour and a half. So I'm guessing it's going to be about an hour and a half on Netflix. And that's a lot to binge watch. But as much as it's good to binge watch, because you kind of you just sit there and for, I don't know, a week, just watching your show. And nothing better than that. But at the same time, you get that joy in a short amount of time. You don't spread it out over a season or 14 weeks or however you want to look at it. So take it for what it's worth. And but bottom line though, and it's a new cast, new host. Comedian Jonah Ray will take over as Joe Henson. Jonah Henson will take over as the Human. Tom Servo, Crow T-Robot will be back, but new voices. Forgive me. I'll trust me, I'll do a show later on, more detail about MST3K, but new mad scientist, Felicity Day, so she's going to be the new mad. They got Patton Oswalt as son of TV's Frank. I think that's going to be pretty funny. And also it was announced yesterday during the MST3K panel that a lot of the originals are coming back for cameos. We're going to get Brain Guy, Bill Corbett. We're going to get Bill Corbett. We're going to get... I keep mispronouncing his last name. I'm sorry, Bill. You'll never hear this. Kevin Murphy will be back as Professor Bobo. Mary Jo Pehl will be back as Pearl Forrester. I'm hoping we can get more cameos. More. Who's there left? Dr. Clayton Forrester, TV's Frank, and if you get the original voices of Crow and Tom Servo, but that's okay. Bottom line, looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to Netflix. I'm happy that Netflix... And the way they announced it was pretty funny. Because, not funny, but awesome, because it was just simply Netflix tweeting out a GIF. We'll get into that argument later. Of that traditional silhouette with the hand pointing up to the screen, the two bots, and just the Netflix logo. And it just said, all it said was, in the not-too-distant future. Saw that, clonked right out to sleep, because that's what I was waiting to see, and slept like a baby. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. I got to imagine it's going to come out probably fall of next year. I'm a backer for Mystery Science Theater, so I'm sure I'll get the updates and get a better idea, and they'll send later a better idea as far as when the show will debut. But in the meantime, I just filled out all my the backer profile for all my fun gifts. Ooh, I can't wait for that. My name in the credits, DVDs, digital copies, a VHS copy. Yes, one of the prizes, if you will, is a actual VHS copy of the first episode of season 11, and I don't own a VCR, so yay. Can't wait for that. And hopefully pop vinyls will come out as I'm staring at my collection of pop vinyls. That'd be awesome. MST3K pop vinyls. Oh, boy, I can't wait. So that was the big news on Mystery Science Theater. And other than that, a lot of other news on San Diego Comic-Con. I think once it wraps up and then gather up all my information on it, I'll definitely do a San Diego Comic-Con special. And besides that, speaking of cons coming up, let's see, and I'm definitely going to try and shoot some videos. I don't know how much I can get away with interviews, but heading down to the Long Island Retro Gaming Convention. That's in August, middle of August. Just got an email about Chiller Theater tickets going on sale, so I got to start to pick those up as soon as I can figure out who's going. That's in October. That's Halloween weekend. Of course, New York Comic-Con, big one, at the Javits Center. Over Columbus Day weekend. So we're going to have that one. And convention-wise, that's pretty much about it for my conventions for the rest of the year. My August, and I got the National Sports and Memorabilia collection, actually, in a couple weeks. That's in Atlantic City. That's going to be a fun one. Beyond that, my August is packed, actually. Beyond that, August-wise, let's see. August, I'm heading down to New Jersey to see Yoga Hosers. Kevin Smith is showing Yoga Hosers at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank. I'm heading down there. I'll definitely stop off at the Jane Silent Bob's Secret Stash, only my second time that I'd be there, and I can't wait to do that. Then things pick up the end of August for SummerSlam weekend. That Saturday, the 20th, I have in the afternoon Evolve Wrestling. I think Cody Rhodes is going to be there, so that should be a fun show in Brooklyn. And then that night, pretty much as soon as Evolve ends, I got to hop on a train and hightail it to the Barclays Center, because then it's NXT Takeover back to Brooklyn. The next night, is SummerSlam. Night after that's Monday Night Raw. And then that following Saturday, a week after NXT, is Ring of Honor, Field of Honor, also in Brooklyn. So got a lot of wrestling happening in Brooklyn. And then, the end of the year, just got tickets for Ring of Honor Final Battle, which is heading back to the Hammerstein Ballroom for the first time since 2013. Final Battle is Ring of Honor's kind of WrestleMania, as far as the ends of the feuds and everything along those lines. I've been to the Hammerstein Ballroom. I've never been for wrestling at the Hammerstein Ballroom. And as the mecca that is Madison Square Garden is to the WWE, in my opinion, the Hammerstein Ballroom is the mecca, if you will, to independent wrestling. Or anyone under the WWE. And WWE's been there. I've been to the Manhattan Center, where the first few episodes of Raw were filmed. I went for TNA. But that was the smaller ballroom, or the smaller, I guess it's upstairs. But the Hammerstein Ballroom, like where the first two ECW one-night stands were, and pretty much the last two ECW pay-per-views were, original ECW pay-per-views. So I've never been to the Hammerstein Ballroom for wrestling, and that I'm looking forward to. And for Final Battle, and it was announced that Cody Rhodes will be at Final Battle. Big time. And I don't know what my seats are, but I know I got the good tickets, so I guess I'll have to wait when they get printed and see where I'm sitting. And pretty much with that, take it from there. So thank you very much for joining. And don't forget to check out as well my other podcast that I do with my friend Anthony Rippo, The Retro Gamers. That one drops on Mondays. And last week we had a really good conversation about the new NES Classic Edition that's coming out in November, and we got a good topic coming up, or came up, I guess, depending on when this podcast drops. But definitely subscribe to the Retro Gamers. Subscribe to this one. Follow us on Facebook, respectively. I'll put the links down in the description. And with that, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. And I will catch you guys next time.